There we go. Hello world. I know last one was short, but you're kind of screwed this time. This one's pretty long. But this one's a big thought. This one's a very big thought. And this is the question, and I'd love to hear your guys' answer. What is true happiness? What is true happiness? And I made a list of questions, kind of, just like ideas that this is what just went through my head. That's my list. It went through my head, and I was like, okay, this is true happiness. So maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll not. I'm leaning back on a wall because I'm lazy. Okay. What is true happiness? You know when you wake up and you just feel content with yourself in life? When you feel the love for someone fill your heart? When you help someone see the point in living and have them content with life too? When you make a really good dessert and you don't know it till you take that first bite? Those are always the best, especially if it's like gooey, yummy chocolate. Good. And walnuts and whipped cream. Not whipped cream. Not whipped cream. You get the cream cheese icing. There we go. Heaven. Heaven right there. Okay. And then when someone says they love you and you believe them. When you realize that living is worth the pain. When you watch somebody succeed and you feel a joy for them. When a little kid runs towards you and hugs you with all their might. And then they barely come. You look down at them and they're right here. They barely come to your knees at all. And you're just like, oh, you're so cute. That happened to me and my little cousin, Bradley. He's one of the happiest moments in my life. I just felt loved, because that's what little kids can do to you. They give you unconditional love, and they're so happy, and they just, see, right here. That's true happiness. That's that smile that these things give to you. And when you're cuddling with someone or something you love, i.e. my teddy bear, it's like right there. Right there. When you get lost in the music, when you work hard to achieve something and you do it successfully, when you make a difference in someone's life, when you just can't stop smiling for no obvious reason, that is true happiness. And the thing is, most people don't live for themselves. They live for their parents. They live for society. They're constantly struggling with finding their own happiness because they're looking at what would make other people happy and what they think will make them happy. And I think that it's very difficult to be happy when you're constantly surrounded by judgment. Because one of the main things that people need to feel happy is when they feel accepted. Because everybody wants to be accepted. Everybody wants to feel like they belong, like the people around them love them. And there's just that aura of joy. And most people don't know what would make them happy, so they're constantly searching. And when you find that something, grab it, hold it, keep it close to you. Don't let it go. Put it on a little leash so you can pull it back every time you need it. Do that. And even though they try to get so many things on the leash to keep them happy, most people think complicated things will make them happy. Like school, like, I don't know, what makes you happy? What do you think makes you happy? Is it complicated? Probably. But the thing that really truly makes people happy are the little simple things. Like other people. And though other people, that can be taken in a very complicated way, like friendships, it's not. Once you get down to one-on-one, mano versus mano, no. Man versus man, no. And once you get like one-on-one friendship where you love them and they love you, and that's all there is, that's it. It's simple. That's it. And the thing is, one thing that most people say is you can't love others till you learn to love yourself. they're wrong. I love others, I don't love myself, but I accept myself. There's a difference between accepting yourself and loving yourself. And I think the idea came from the need to accept yourself. Because once you accept yourself, you're comfortable with yourself and you be yourself. And then once you finally figure out who you are, people are more apt to love you because they don't want to love somebody else. And if you're constantly working to find out who you are or constantly working to put a mask on and cover yourself, then they're not going to see the real you. They're just going to see this mesh of things, and it's very hard to love something that's a mesh of things because it's complicated. But once they see the true you, back down to simple. So that is you. They look into my room and they see Krav Maga posters, they see books, they see cameras, they see my guitar, they see my ukulele, they see my plant, they see my journals, and they see a heck of a lot of stuffed animals. They go, that's Lauren. They don't have to go, oh, well there's this and this and this and this and this, and this means this, but this also might mean that. No, it's not complicated. You see this and you're like, this is Lauren. This is her. And that's it. And then once you accept yourself, accept your faults, accept everything, you still don't have to like yourself. You can just be like, hey, this is me. Either you like it or you don't. And if you do, hopefully you stick around, because I like you too. And then I went off into a side topic, because I had my line, selflessness and acceptance bring happiness. Selfish people bring unhappiness. You wonder why the world is screwed. Surprise. It's our own fault. And again, that was going from the mindset of George Carlin, who is a brilliant comedian, and I recommend you look him up. No, he's not sponsoring me because he's dead. Thank you for asking. And I should not have said that, so, oh, I'm sorry. May you rest in peace down in hell, because that's where you are, George. No matter how lovely you are, everybody who's heard you knows that's where you are. And this, I think people should think about, the selfless versus selfish. And it's very hard, very, 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 very hard to be selfless. Because if you're like, oh hey, but I gave $1 to a homeless guy before, did he feel good? Yes. Why did you do it? Because you knew it would make you feel good. Therefore it's selfish. It's not for them, it was for you. And though ultimately it might be for them, but it's going to help you more than it helped them. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you get two goods. But you can't just go and say, I gave a man $1, therefore I'm selfless. It doesn't work that way. So I had a list of questions that I just went through writing and I answered them all. So I'm going to read these to you, and I'm going to answer them. If people do a selfish act, they are selfish because they did something for themselves. If people do a selfless act, it makes them feel good, and then it becomes a selfish act, which brings you back to the first. If people do a selfless act that puts them in the down, then they are considered selfless. Therefore, is being selfless worth it? Is being selfless worth it for yourself? Is being selfless worth it for other people? Has your first answer changed? Is your unhappiness or down put? Is your unhappiness for a moment worth helping others even if you don't feel good about it? What makes you a good person? Which one? Which makes you a good person? Are you okay if you're only doing it for that title? If so, does that ultimately take that want and make it unachievable? If you're working to be a good person, because you want to be a good person, but then you're really just doing it for the title of being a good person, that would officially make you not a good person because you wouldn't be doing it for other reasons. You'd be doing it for yourself. So, does that make it just an unachievable loop? Question. And if it's unachievable, would you do it anyway for the greater good? Oh yeah. I just made a paradox right there. Deal with it. Deal with it. What are you gonna do? Nothing. Nothing. Because it's a paradox and you have no choice. And then, in the end, are you selfish or selfless?